In the famous words of Justin Marshall, me oh my, I have enjoyed that. Yes, boy. Here are my thoughts immediately following the final whistle. Just finished watching it. New Zealand against Argentina. Second game in the Rugby Championship. Round 1 from Wellington. And what a match. You're about to get the result. So if you're not wanting to know that, then look away. But congratulations. Argentina. Vamos! What a result. 38 points to 30. The most points they've ever scored against New Zealand. Another victory on New Zealand soil. Only their third ever win against the All Blacks, but those have all come in the last few years. And everyone was talking about the Brisbane curse for South Africa in the game earlier. What about the Wellington curse for New Zealand? I reckon the All Blacks may just decide never to play in Wellington again. They have not won there since, 2018? And their 5th consecutive defeat in Wellington. That is remarkable. That was, and I love the fact that this image has Augustin Creevy, 109 caps, and he got a try that helped seal the victory. Massive impact off the bench at the age of 39. And I said it earlier this week, and I'll say it again. I wish I loved anything as much as Augustin Creevy loves playing rugby for Argentina. What a fantastic result. And you just have to applaud the bravery. They completely deserved that win. Like, up against a massive penalty count against them, they still managed to dig deep and find a way to win. Pablo Matera, who was in tears at the full-time whistle, was absolutely immense. On both sides of the ball, made a complete nuisance of himself, came up with big plays when it really mattered. That might have rattled a few cages in the first half when he did the old Maori face back at the Argentinians when making a turnover, but he was absolutely awesome. The bravery that his team showed, without their captain as well, because Matera was captain today and he led from the front in words and in deeds, but because Julian Montoya, massive loss for them, but you wouldn't know it. Along with Marcos Kremer, who's in that shot as well. The two of them and Gonzalez, what a back row Argentina have got. And Oviedo off the bench was great as well. But Matera and Kremer, what a pair of flankers. Do you know what? I was completely right on my prediction for South Africa via Australia, and I was completely wrong on my prediction for Argentina in New Zealand. I did say that Argentina's route to victory would be these two guys smashing everything in defence, winning the gain line and setting a platform, and they did that. They were absolutely huge. What was it Eddie Jones used to call Tom Curry and Sam Underhill the kamikaze twins? These guys, I call them the Bash brothers. They smash everything, and I love it. I'm here for it. And when I talk about the bravery of Argentina, it wasn't just defensively, which was huge. The bravery that Argentina show is attacking from deep. So nowadays, teams drop 3 players in the backfield, and New Zealand did the whole game. They had Damien McKenzie back there, they had Bowden Barrett back there, at least one of the wingers was back there. And that does mean that there is space in the defensive line to get around the outside. And Argentina, the bravery they showed was just attacking from deep, inside their own 22. There's space out wide, let's go. Let's back ourselves, and fortune favours the brave. They were brave, and despite a massive penalty count against them, I mean, Argentina and terrible discipline, name a more iconic duo. So let's go through this game then. Opening 10 minutes, it was cagey, wasn't it? Chances going both ways. No one able to deliver. Argentina with that high penalty count in the opening moments. And I mean, just on Angus Gardner quickly, because I didn't really mention the referee in the game earlier, and I'm a big fan of Luke Pearce as a referee. I don't know. So the yellow card for Australia earlier was a bit strange, given that they'd been giving away penalties on their own line the whole match, and then a couple of penalties in innocuous positions, and he's carding South African players. On the flip side, there will be some people thinking that Angus Gardner should have given at least one card in this match. But in the case of Ethan Blackadder, he just kind of let the guys play. As long as there's consistency, I'm completely on board with it. And actually, with that decision, I like Angus Gardner's rationale for saying Ethan Blackadder didn't deserve a card. If that same tackle had happened in the Six Nations, I imagine that probably a card would have been given. And all you want is consistency. I bet you Sam Kane is saying, I wish that referee, I wish we'd had Angus Gardner in the World Cup final, because it was a bit reminiscent of that. And I quite like the way Angus Gardner refereed it for the record. Well, I will say on him, he seemed to be quite whistle happy. There was one occasion in the first half where he said to Argentina at a line out, he put his hand down to signal to the back line, yep, you can come up now. They came up, no one looked like they were offside, and he gave a penalty against Argentina for offside. Odd things like that going on. And he also, the way he speaks to players, well done, good listening. So anyway, it's a bit strange, but on the whole, fine. And I don't really want to talk about the referee too much, beyond the fact that Argentina had a crazy high penalty count and yet still managed to win the game. As it was, New Zealand did get the first score through a penalty through Damien McKenzie, and then it was Damien McKenzie turned provider for a first test try for Sam Darry, who was one positive for New Zealand. His performance in the second row without Scott Barrett, I thought it was promising from him. But Damien McKenzie with a lovely little chip and gather. Beauden Barrett with a brilliant vision and great execution on a crossfield kick. Went just over Cody Taylor, but managed to be gathered by Sam Darry, who scored a try. And at 10-0, and then, 10-0, you thought, okay, well, here we go. They might have weathered the early storm. Argentina had a couple of goes, but New Zealand are going to do what they do. But they hit straight back, did Argentina. And that was the story of this game. New Zealand could never get them out of sight. And then when it really mattered, they couldn't. Well, Argentina were more clinical. Cinti, with that try, was absolutely beautiful. And it was Matera just crabbing across the field. Chocobaras with a great line and a late lift from Matera straight through a hole to Cinti in. Try. Brilliant execution. No conversion, so it was 13-5, but a penalty made it 13-8. But then Anton Linnett-Brown scored a try. Finally, New Zealand got a little bit of continuity together. Nicely built score. And they were 20 points to 8 up. And again, 12-point cushion. Here we go. New Zealand are going to just slowly take the game away from Argentina. But Argentina would not have that. Mateo Carreras bounced straight back. Slightly fortuitous. Ball gets knocked down by a New Zealand player from a kick-off. Or from a crossfield kick. Mateo Carreras gambled on the ball going there and got the ball, and amazing footwork to just completely turn DMAC inside out and score a try. Awesome try. And that made it 20-15 at half time. We hadn't had a whole scrum in that whole first half. We had 800 penalties, no scrums. There were players that went off. The front rows started going off in the second half without having been involved in a scrum. We had to wait until an hour till we got the first scrum of the game. It's bizarre. I kind of missed the scrums, and I quite liked them when they did appear finally in the second half. And that second half began with that man, Pablo Matera, with an immense turnover, from which they could have gone for goal. And they were, at that point, they were 5 points down. They could have gone for goal here and just tried to apply a bit of scoreboard pressure. But they went to the corner and came up with a try. A lovely bit of deception. We saw a great try from South Africa today where someone tried something a bit different and it worked. The double pod lifting for South Africa for that first Sia Khaleesi try. We saw some brilliant deception here with Gonzalez going up in the middle of the line out and New Zealand attracted to him, but then just Molina just catching the ball without a jump at the front of the line out. Over, try. 22 points to 20. Then trading penalties made it 25-23. To Argentina at this point, and then this was the moment again where you thought New Zealand had got this now. Mark Telea scored a try, and this was the best moment for New Zealand. Finally, they put some attack together. The guys off the bench injected a bit of pace. Ratimer was on. Will Jordan was on. Will Jordan wasn't even involved in this attack, and he still seemed to make the attack better because they were running with a bit of power into the defensive line, making dents. Quick ball, easy pass. DMAC scored. Telea scored. The man who dips himself in a tub of Vaseline before every match. So slippery. 30 points to 25 and New Zealand were controlling territory, looked it on top, and they just needed to hit that knockout blow, which they could not do. And then, I should have mentioned actually, then Damien McKenzie. Right, we'll talk about DMAC in a minute, but he missed what for him is a regulation penalty kick, which would have made it an 8-point cushion at 60 minutes in the game. That's big. And then, as if that wasn't enough, Ardi Savia, their best player and captain, just had a total brain fart moment. What was Ardi Savia doing? Just lobbed the ball back towards Damien McKenzie, went 10 metres behind him, and then to compound errors, rather than go, right, okay, we're under pressure, I'm regathering the ball, let's play a bit of percentages, DMAC decides to do the same thing and just wang the ball over Beauden Barrett. What on earth were they doing? They went from a line out on basically the halfway line to Argentina having a scrum 5 metres out from their own line. They deserved to lose for that few minutes. DMAC missing an easy kick, and Ardi Savia, who should know better, and DMAC, who should be much better than that, just putting their team in all kinds of trouble. What on earth were they thinking? And they deserved to lose from that few moments alone. And fair play to Argentina for being clinical, taking their opportunity. And it was that man, Augustin Crevi, scoring the try, 39 years of age. He made turnovers, he made carries, he scored a try. What a bloke. It has to be pointed out, Ethan Blackadder missed Oviedo when he made the number 8 pickup, which gave them the momentum from which Crevi then went and scored. And there you go. From there, the game was kind of done. Argentina managed to win important penalties to see the game out and even score another penalty to make it 38 points to 30. So let's talk about New Zealand for a second. Honeymoon is over for Scott Robertson. Let's just be honest. If that performance had happened under Ian Foster, the knives would be out. The journalists would be writing scathing columns. The fans would be having a right go at Fozzie. And it's early days for Scott Robertson, but you expect better from a team. Now, some of that is, obviously, it's unfair, I think. And I guess the point I'm making here is, it wasn't all on Fozzie when New Zealand lost, which quite often that's what the media and pundits would say. It's all on him, but it wasn't. Same goes, Scott Robertson shouldn't escape criticism here for that team that went out. There were poor individual performances. Argentina, you have to credit them first and foremost, the bravery, the attitude. But there's some things Scott Robertson can't control. There's some things he can control. And New Zealand seem naive. And Damien McKenzie, where do you stand on him at fly half? I think there shouldn't be any knee-jerk reactions, and they can put it right next week. Eden Park, great record there. And the same team could go out and probably could end up beating Argentina by 20 points, 30 points. You can imagine that happening with exactly the same team. This is a wake-up call, though. And Damien McKenzie, he had some nice moments. And the broken field stuff that he can do, that like to set up that try for Darry, was an amazing moment. But the nuts and bolts at fly half, it's what you got to do. And he did control the game for parts, but when it really matters, when the big decisions come on, when the pressure's there, when you need someone just to right the ship and get you in the right parts of the field, he sort of failed. Anton Linnett-Brown, I was hoping that he might unlock a level of ability and potential in Geordie Barrett from having a conventional centre outside him, but Anton Linnett-Brown's game was mixed, and Geordie Barrett, I don't know, I didn't see it. I think it was just a bad day at the office. I'm not going to make any knee-jerk reactions about any individual player. TJ Perenara, lovely mullet, mixed performance, and it was noticeable how much quicker the game got when Ratimer came on, but the bench made a good impact. Papali'i was good, I'll say that. But Ardi Savia was left in the shade by Kremer and Matera. On Argentina, let's just focus on them. I thought Juan Cruz Malia at fullback was absolutely class. The ambition from the back line was brilliant. And what was different, and again, to compare DMAC with Santi Carreras, I think he probably came off the pitch and no one had tackled him because no one needed to tackle him because he never took the ball into contact. His kit was like perfectly clean. That's what you want from a great fly half. Santi Carreras was doing the basic fundamental fly half things you want. Just distribute. Just give the ball to your ball carriers. Just kick the ball in the right part of the pitch. Don't try and do it all yourself and get caught with the ball. I thought it was a really mature performance from Santi Carreras. And exactly what Argentina have been needed. He pulled the strings and just did the basic fundamentals correct and kicked well when he had the opportunity as well. So, I don't know. I might go back and have another watch of it. A bit of a deeper post-mortem on New Zealand. But I think I'm trying not to have too big a knee-jerk reaction, but that was disappointing from them. But overwhelmingly, I want to come away from that game just celebrating that Argentinian performance. You get tears before the game when they do their national anthem. It's just how Argentina roll, and I love it. But there were tears on the full-time whistle, which meant you could see just exactly how much it meant to them. And they deserve that win. The Rugby Championship is going, isn't it? I think that it needed that, or it needed a competitive game. Had it been 2 washout victories, it would have been a bit of a damp squib, but there we go. We're rolling. There's my thoughts immediately following the full-time whistle. I'll be back for more videos. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got to this point, then you must have either dozed off or you actually appreciate the content. And if you do, then please hit subscribe on the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Tell me what you think.